What's up, guys? It's Dom with my team, back for seconds. We defended our title at YCS, the Team YCS in Las Vegas. We got these nice 3 Ultra Prize cars, got 3 of these trophies, and then we all played. Me and Cancel played identical decks. Silverman played an identical main deck.
I'm a rogue a little bit. It's got a spice on the side deck.
He's 6 cards different than us. Went rogue for sure. And Silverman's champion aura carried us once again. And I'll get into the deck. We all played Kashtira. We played 3 Unicorn, 3 Fenrir. These are the only playable monsters in the entire deck. You don't have a choice. 1 Ogre. So like the standard play we make a lot is you would like search this and have like Birth Up usually. And then you would use all 3 of these guys and just like hard make a Rise Art, and it plays around Nib. And our deck is kind of built almost like a Zoo deck. If you guys played Zoo, where you just play like a bunch of like book type cards or like good 1-for-1 non-engine that like usually end up trading more than 1-for-1. And like the Rise Heart just ends up being enough, especially when you draw a card like Lance. It's just like way too hard to beat. And then this will just give you guaranteed follow-up forever because you detach these 3 off a Rise Heart, they all get banished. And this between their turn and your turn is just 2 more monsters and they're dead. So you have to play Ogre for that reason. I know some people didn't play him.
How many people asked to read preparations when you searched that?
I
3. Like my favorite is when you'd play against like Labyrinth or something, and they flip a trap while you have a monster, and then you're like, okay, let me see your hand, and they're like, huh? And then they read it again, and
damn, I need to read it again.
Then we played one of the Scarecrow Kashtira. We did not play the Tier Elements Kashtira. You like have to play one of these guys. This one's obviously better. It is not only bigger than Tier Elements Kashtira, but it being Earth means you can do a lot of damage through Gozen Match still, because Fenrir can search this. Also, this like being able to negate cards like Avermax or whatever, just like attacking into them with itself or another Kashtira guy was really, really good. And so you like have to play one of these for the extender, but the Tier Elements guy is not good, and like I wouldn't play multiples of this. Same kind of goes for this card. Like you have to play 2 because the card is like fine. It obviously does nothing on its own, but you need it for the combos. And like when you start grinding, this card gets much, much better because that's when you really start summoning Shanger Era.
There's also like a non-zero chance that it gets banished off the top of your deck when your opponent goes first, right?
Yeah, like if you go second and like you only play 1 and it gets banished off Diablosis, you like lose an entire layer to your deck. And who knows what else Diablosis hit, like if it hit these. So you can't lose like multiple sub parts of your engine outside of these. Like you have to have monsters that these can supplement into. So this card is good, but you don't play 3 because it like obviously does nothing on its own. It's only good when you can already play, or like if you draw it with Birth, I guess you could play. 3 Ash. Yeah, so this card's just a god card because everyone plays Despia. And For some reason, like this card negates Branded Fusion. Their deck like passes on 0 interactions, or like a Book of Eclipse, or they just like try not to die. Like this card's just so broken versus that. It also stops Book of Eclipse, which is probably the most common way for people to try to beat your big monster. So Ash negating Book of Eclipse is important enough outside of just Branded Fusion. And also like this deck only has like actual starter cards. I think it only has 10. 13 if you count Prosperity. But it only has like Fenrir, Unicorn, the 4 field spells, 5 if you play set rotation, I guess, and then Prosperity. So like even Ash against the Mirror, like if they start field spell and you Ash it, they probably can't play a lot of the times. It's like pretty rough.
Except for the finals, right? Where
yeah. When I got Ashed and just locked 5 anyway, that was ridiculous. I think if he Ashed my Unicorn, I couldn't have locked 5 though. So oh well. He was probably just holding it for Theosis, and I searched Birth. Already had Theosis. Then with 13 monsters, I think. And we played the 4 field spells. This card's just like broken. I wanted to play set rotation with the Scareclaw field spell because you could still search Scareclaw Kashtira, and that card like had an effect where you could pop, but we decided that like non-engine was better, just like stick to how we wanted to play our decks. Like the one set rotation, like you were playing one more starter card for one bad card, and it just like didn't really make sense. So just play like this, and then 3 of this, 3 of this. A lot of people don't play 3 Birth, I think, but I think you have to play 3 Birth. Birth is terrible to draw, like the majority of the time. It like definitely contributes to your poor hands, but your hands that are good, this is the card that lets you play through like the books and all the cards that like would flood you out. Because a lot of the times, like you go second, you like book someone's board, like whether it's a Despia board that you try to eclipse, or whether it's like a mirror that you try to eclipse, or whatever it may be. You like summon a guy, then they like book it on summon, and then if you have this and another guy, it's just crazy. The Labyrinth deck all plays like Terrors of the... It's either Overroot or Underroot, I don't remember which one. But like you summon a guy, then they do that, and then if you ash them or whatever, or you have another monster in your grave, they like set a monster to your board, and that's like effectively Book of Moon. But then like Birth is even crazier there, because now you can revive the guy that they sent to the grave, and normal summon from your hand, which is why like Herman had to judgment both of these when I activated them in top 8.
It also has another effect to banish cards.
Yes.
That card is
I did not learn until midway through.
That card is an FTK against Branded Fusion. Would you like to explain why?
Yeah, so if you have this up against Branded Fusion, when did you learn this?
I
In
probably
top
around
8.
like 4 or 5. Nah, maybe a little
top
bit.
8. Top 8 sounds crazy. But yeah, I you learned this when it happened to you, didn't you?
Yes.
Oh, and
probably.
you
Yes,
managed
yes.
all his
So
Kashtira
Silverman like
monsters.
round 5 like rips Birth against another Kashtira guy, and he's like, oh, I'm in there. Activates Birth,
I was not in there.
and then his opponent's Birth is like, banish all your guys in your grave, and he's like, damn, I was wrong. And picks up his cards. But yeah, so when your opponent activates a spell and you control a Kashtira, once per turn, you can then, on a new chain, after the spell resolves, banish 3 cards from their graveyard face down. So like against Branded Fusion, you have this up, they like Branded Fusion, summon, like send 2, summon a guy, Branded Fusion goes to grave. Now Birth will banish the Branded Fusion and both the monsters they sent face down, which makes it so that like Albion and Lubellion are both terrible to summon into Birth. So they have to summon something else that like is of substance. Oh my gosh.
And that card is really good versus Runic.
Yes, it is good versus Runic too. Like Cancel played against Runic, and like you have Birth up, they activate, then they go like
Field spell
chain like 1 fountain to put their cards back, and you're like, they're all gone.
And when they randomly banish your cards off the top of the deck, you can just start playing.
Yeah, that's another thing, right? Like if they banish Theosis, or monsters, like your deck just gets so much random value off the Runic cards too. Like
Damn, that's crazy.
yeah, like it's so insane. So yeah, you have to max out on the Kashtira spells because of that. It's the same reason with Theosis contributes to bricks, but if you draw any monster, it's any of the good monsters. So like we have to play 3. It's teleport. Prosperity because deck sucks.
You
Deck
don't need to
sucks.
explain.
Yeah.
They understand why.
You have the room.
Nice. For our non-engine, we just played 3 Eclipse, 3 Book, 3 Forbidden Lance, and 3 Emperor. So I'll explain the books a little bit, but like they don't need much explanation. This one doesn't need explanation at all. This card like beats the whole Kashtira board going second, as well as when you play against the Despia board, like turns off everything that's on the board, and all they have is like in red and ad libitum after that. So
Also, you can deck your opponent by making them draw hella cards. I almost did it.
Did you really?
Almost, yeah.
That's
I killed them instead, but you
Or your
know.
opponent lets you draw,
that's crazy.
or your opponent lets you draw 4 cards off of it.
Yeah, and you draw Ash. Yeah, you're insane.
That was nice.
That was nice. It was like, Cancel, you're just gonna draw Ash, it's fine. You did. First card, that was insane. So Book of Moon, it's a little different. It's pretty bad against Despia going first, but it's against Kashtira, it's crazy. Like they just summon a guy, you just book their guy, and if they don't have like Lance or Birth, they can no longer play the game. Like they have to have like outside of those, and those are Lance is obviously 1 card to play through it, but Birth also requires another card in their hand, and anything past Birth and like normal summon a good guy is like a 3 to 4 card way for them to play the game, like Scareclaw Mance, and then like Rise Heart, and that's like literally 3 cards. So like book was crazy, and then even going second, you just like book a Rise Heart, book like whatever one problem monster is, and it like works out enough of the time. Yeah, like it's really all. And then Lance was just like we said before, we were playing around Nibiru like pretty much the whole tournament.
Except when you didn't.
Except when we did not.
Except when you told me and I got nibbed for everything.
Yes. But yeah, so we play around Nibiru like the majority of the time, unless we have like enough non-engine that we don't think it'll matter if we get nibbed. Like in the finals, game 1 and 3, the last card in my hand both those games was Ash Blossom. So like if I got nibbed, I was like, I'm just gonna Ash Brand Diffusion. It doesn't matter. Like I already established follow up with Birth. Who cares? So I like just went for it and it worked out. Game 1 and 3, so that was nice. But normally we just summon a Rise Heart pass with the preparation, like a Rise Heart preparation, like I showed at the start. And then Lance there is crazy because you like Lance your Rise Heart when they try to book it or whatever. Now they're down a card because they like already fed a card into the Rise Heart, and now they probably have no like good way to deal with it, especially with like these books now, right? Because like the only effective like monster to deal with a Rise Heart is Fenrir. Even then, like
you just banish.
It's like Fenrir, you banish it, and then they have to play afterwards. So like, God forbid you draw like Lance plus one of these books or like Imperum. They just literally can't do anything. Like it's so hard for them to win without their own Lance. And then Imperum was just.
That was like our 37, 38, 39.
Yeah, 38, 39, 40.
Sometimes it just gets there, right?
I mean, it just gets there going second. It's like not a bad card to draw as your 6th card at one for ones or something, and it's like.
It's pretty good to stop Unicorn.
It's whatever, yeah, exactly. Like Imperming a Unicorn sometimes just makes you so the board's not good. Play one Big Bang and one Prep. You like have to play Big Bang for summoning guys, and then Prep. I explained earlier.
How many cards is your main deck?
40. Only 40. Never
Only
40 only.
Never more.
Next I'll do the extra deck.
Let's speed it up. Johnny Lee's giving you coaching advice on how to do
3-hour
long deck
sorry.
profile.
3 Rise Heart.
Shout out Johnny Lee for the 3-hour mark, that profile.
We just played 3 because if one gets banished when you're going second off the Ablosis like they should, then like they just summon Unicorn and you can't use a monster effect or you lose all your Rise Hearts and then you lose the game. You barely summon this card. This card you just play 2 because there's nothing better to play more of. 2 Zeus as well. These are just like cards you're trying to avoid getting Diablosis and not have access to. Big Eye, you lose this every time you go second, so it's whatever. Dark Rump, this card's really, really good at like clearing boards, and you can also like trigger your Theosis with it. Flare Metal,
You summoned that once?
I summoned it one time. I thought I was gonna win the match, and I got nipped, so it was whatever. But it was there just. I mean, yeah.
It wasn't even in my deck.
Yeah, it was not in Silverman's deck. Neither of these cards were in Silverman's deck. I did not summon Baron once. Cancel summoned it 4 times.
I also did terrible every time you summoned it.
Apparently, it was insane.
It might have just been better to have Ash in your hand, but whatever.
Exactly. That's the problem, right? Like you play against Despia, Ash just better in your hand. Play
Yeah.
Garura, so you attach it off Prosperity, and then like if you get evenly matched or whatever, or super polyed, then this is gonna go to the grave. You're gonna replenish a card, and then you play Donner for Ibli and like Contact C and blah blah blah. And then
you ever summoned Donner then?
I never summoned it.
Me neither.
No,
yeah, it just didn't come up. And then Baron and Flare Metal in Silverman's deck were the 2 Lingrebos in case he got Iblied. And then like because it's a 3v3, if like it happens to him first, maybe they think we also play Ibli or we also play Lingrebos, and then they don't try to Ibli us, which would be cool.
Interesting 3v3 dynamic.
I don't think I got Igley once this weekend.
Yeah,
I did.
I got Gimmick Puppeted twice, but other than that, the side deck 3 shifter. This card is broken. Silverman didn't want to play it.
I played it,
but he played it. He didn't go rogue on that one. 2 Droll. This card's really good against like the Allure Despia deck, which is what most of them should be because they're trying to play 40 cards and just draw insane. And then I was also scared of the Dark World deck, so I wanted like something other than shifter for that. So like these are our spots. This is just how the side pattern worked out. Is like these all ended up being 2-ofs because we only wanted to decide 4 cards against the Kashmir, and which would be these 4. And then this card overlapped against a lot, like the Sprite, like the other Ibly decks, as well as Despia. And then this card also overlapped against some other matchups. So it ended up just being this for the side pattern. Silverman did not play either of these.
Hates quick play spells. He had enough of them.
Yes. And then
I played some tech.
Ooh, little fun ups.
You want to explain these?
You gotta just play the fun-ups. Because, like, you want Nibiru, but you only want one of it ever. So if you only play one, you can only draw one. And then when they get Nibiru for everything, the one time you draw it, they'll just play Afraid for it the whole game. So the one acted like 3 copies in mine, 3 copies in his, and 3 copies in his. So
Well, one card investment was 9.
And then I wanted to play more of this because I thought like Labyrinth would be a thing, and Dom was just like, nope, it won't be. But I played it in the top cut, and I wish I had more of these, but I only had one, and I did not draw it. So
Yeah, it happens. And then
Lava
you
Golem.
in place of the controllers for the mirror.
It just seems very good, this format. I feel like I was going to get locked out, and like this is a card that helps you when you get locked out of all 5 spell and traps. And then you can still get to play, but didn't work out like that. So
I was convinced no one else would do that to us.
no one else did.
And they did
No one locked you guys. You never got locked for 5.
No, not once.
Nice.
The lava golems. That's why he played the 2 Lingerivo. So if he got Iblit, he could just still lava.
Yeah,
golem.
that was the other
That makes
reason he
sense.
had to play Lingrivo, because he played Lava Golem. So like, Ibly beats this card, but not if he plays the Lingrivos. And then we played 3-dimensional barrier and a Pointer of the Red Lotus. This card is crazy because you like hit a card out of their hand and then just gets attached to a Rise Heart, so they never get it back.
But it's only good when you don't set your whole hand, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Shout out Alex
And
Bird.
redraw it going first, and never draw it going first. It's
Yes.
just in your side deck for no reason.
And this card obviously is just game against the branded deck, and then against the mirror. Like they can't do much if all they have going second is Fenrir and Unicorn. Going first, if they get Lancia, like they can still win with only Fenrir and Unicorn, but getting barriered, if you can't push back with your Exceed, you can't win. So like.
So you really respected the Despia deck, putting the 3 barriers also.
Yeah, I played against.
That gave us 6 FTKs versus that deck.
Yeah.
3 Ash.
Yeah.
I think I played against that deck through Swiss and Top Cut 6 times or 7 times.
Yeah.
I played against that deck a lot, and I played 3. What was the tournament? 13 rounds. I played 2 Labyrinth, and then I think 6 Despia and 5 Cashmeres.
What about you guys? What about you, Silverman?
I played
I played
against
against
everything. Marincess, Soul Sword, the little birds, not the big birds. Lyreless, yeah. People were playing foreign copies of everything, and I just not only did I not know what they did, and then I had to read the foreign copy, and it was just
Sounds like a nightmare.
it was rough. I had a rough tournament, but luckily my man's held it down again.
Yo.
So
Yeah. Shoutouts.
Scott Page first.
Scott Page.
Yeah.
This guy gets the biggest shout out.
Shout out to Scott Page.
He blessed us with an opportunity to win again. We got to trade up, and then
Trading up. That's crazy.
trading up is crazy.
Crazy.
And then shout out to my Lucky Charm.
That's all I am, just Lucky Charm. I was trying to drag him down so far, but Dom's insane, and he's held all the weight, and there was a lot of weight, but he held it all.
Every round. I lost, but my
round.
team's insane, so we won.
Shout out to Jobber, Team
Yes.
Jobber. Check out their channel. Awesome, great guy. Anything you need to do, hit up him for any advice. You're on the same team too.
Yep,
so-
he's our man.
Yep, and then both of us are on Top Choice Gaming, so shout out Top Choice Gaming. Check out their store in Colton, California. They lent us hella cards,
Oh,
so
yeah.
like it wouldn't have been as easy to get everything without them. So that was awesome. And then shout out Avery Foster, Jesse, and Mike Albanese, Jeff, Ryan, all the rest of the UA Hero Academy for playing with us. Biggest shout out definitely, and Bowden, and the biggest shout out definitely goes to Ryan Levine, because in Mexico on Sunday night, I was trying to play a no extra deck Flunder deck.
We thought we were so nice for like 5 seconds.
It's
I
like
thought-
we're not
I
gonna
thought-
get locked out of our spell and traps.
Yes.
We're just gonna have no extra deck.
It's because like they just can't Diablosis you if you have no extra deck. So I was like, this is insane. They're just gonna Rise Our Pass every time, and I'm playing Fluandery, so that card does nothing against me. And then Ryan sat there and beat the dog shit out of me for literally like 2 hours, and I was like, this deck is unplayable. I'll just play Kashtira, and that is how this became. Oh goodness.
Well, I'm glad it worked out then. I'm glad he did that, and you guys decided to play this deck. Any final things you want
Anyone's
to add?
hella rich and wants some ultra rare prize cards.
You got the set.
Got the set here.
I have a couple.
The first Team 3v3 in America ultra rare prize cards.
Alex has a couple shoutouts.
Shout outs to my friends in Houston. They had to leave for their flights, but they held it down. Made top cut as well. A couple of them got their first tops ever. So glad that I could see everybody. Since I moved away.
Sadly, they couldn't all get their first wins ever.
All right, so until the next 3v3 in Las Vegas.
Yes. There will be another scoop.
Defending champions.
Yeah. All you can eat. All you can eat.
Are you gonna finish that?
All you can eat with a 3. All you can eat with the 3 is crazy.
Yeah.
All right.
Back for dessert.
All right. Thanks, guys. Signing out.
Thanks.
Bye.